The optimal state of consciousness. I feel like things get a little weirder every day that goes by. This is the Polyend Tracker. Polyend sent this to me a while back to test, and I've kind of just been waiting for a more final version of the firmware to do a video on it. And I kind of say we're at a pretty good position to do that now. But before we do that, let's address what the hell I just said at the beginning of the video, the optimal state of consciousness. It's a little weird, but that's what happens when we hit a state of flow. And when we're in this state of flow, dopamine's released. Dopamine just feels really good. That's all you need to know. And according to author and researcher Stephen Coulter, it takes 5 things to hit this state of flow. It takes risk, novelty, complexity, unpredictability, and pattern recognition. The Polyend Tracker easily has 4 out of 5 of these and can easily have 5 out of 5 if you go and play live, because that could be risky with anything. All right, let's check this thing out. All right, Enrique, pump the brakes. So right off the bat, I really like this thing. Will it be a part of my big main studio? No. Will I make music with it? Yes. Is it one of my new favorite travel pieces? Yes. Do I wish it had a battery? Yes. Does it have a battery? No. Are the pads a little small and do I wish they were a little bigger? Yes. I mean, there's a lot to like and way more than there is to dislike about this thing. And the things that I do dislike about this thing are so nitpicky and in no way make this thing unusable. The buttons have a nice clickiness to them, the jog wheel is smooth and, has this nice little kind of clicky sound to it to kind of let you know you've increased by 1 increment. And like I mentioned the pads a second ago, they're a little small and my chubby fingers do kind of have a tendency to hit an unexpected note when in the live record mode, but you kind of get used to it. And honestly, at first I thought they were so weird. I was like, what number is this? It's 12 by 4, which still kind of doesn't make sense. It's unusual to see, to say the least. It does make sense when you're in note mode because this is 1 octave and then you have 4 octaves. So kind of makes sense. You got 12 notes across and then 4 octaves up and down. Now this is a prototype unit and my down button was kind of sticking to begin with, but I've already been told that they fixed this and it just took a little nudge on my end to fix. And again, this is a prototype unit and I don't think that will be an issue with the mass production units. Oh, and let me address the how do I compare this to a tracker within computers and this tracker. So I can't say much because I'm not too into trackers into the computer. I have been talking a lot with John Tejada about trackers. He's a big ReNoise user. If you're not familiar with him, I have a link down to his Bandcamp. Check out his music. It's really, really good. He's a huge inspiration to me. And he's been trying to put me onto ReNoise for a while now. His favorite thing about that is the QWERTY keyboard. The fact that you can start eventually getting to a point, that sentence made no sense, of using ReNoise without the mouse. So you can just start typing away like you're doing your high school English essay and bam, a banger shows up. So that's kind of what I didn't like about ReNoise, was I had to keep learning and relearning all these weird shortcuts. And what the tracker does to me is everything that my tracker can do is laid out right here. I got all my effects, got my sample editors. It's just right here on the unit, and it even has a built-in manual to help you along the way of learning. So I guess the best way to sum this up was my answer to his text asking, so what do I think of the Polyend Tracker? My response was, it's awesome, you're gonna hate it. And of course, this is with a bit of exaggeration. Again, I can't speak too much onto that because I never really got into ReNoise and he's never really tried the Polyend Tracker. So it's kind of still up in the air. But one thing I do know is I still am way more into the Polyend Tracker than I am ReNoise. All right, you babbling buffoon, let's get into this and let's remove this. Ooh, yeah. Whoa, that screen is really good at taking care of glare. This was the glare issue, not that. Dope. And it's stuck to my foot. This was something I started making right before I hit record, and I found this kind of cool bass sample. Oh, that's totally not it. Where's it at? This one here that I took off the radio. And because it was sampled from the radio, it had such this crazy crunchiness to it. Yeah, it sounded cool. That's one of the features I love about this, is just being able to sample the radio. You just go to sample recorder, And oh god, so I basically I cut that out because that was clearly a popular song, and I ain't trying to get this video destroyed or whatever would happen. I don't want to find out. But boom, right there, you can see what you're listening to and what song is coming on and how it is, and then you just say, cool, record. It starts recording stuff. This is a little weird to me because it comes in really, really quiet, right? So if I go back and I say cancel, sample recorder. So see, watch, I'll turn this up. That yellow starts to make me a little nervous, but then I'm at gain 100 and that makes me nervous, but we're still not really clipping. Let's see what this does. Oh, I guess that makes it a little louder. Let's preview that. Yo, that's kind of tight. Okay, I guess you got to set it to gain 100. I always thought that would be way, way, way too intense. So yeah, let's, I'm gonna actually save this as a whole sample. I don't want to crop it. We'll just call it that for now. So if I go back to our patterns here, this is the pattern I made right before this video. Hearing that sample that I just recorded puts this one to shame. And this one's a little funky. If you ain't down with the funk and the swing and the weirdness, you're probably like, what the hell are you doing, dude? But check this out. Right, so there's a bunch of stuff going on. One thing that's cool is you automatically start recording unquantized. So if we go to track 3, and track 3, I think it's shift this, it will solo it. Right, so if we go to our patterns, that M is like the micro step or the micro nudge. And if you really want to find out, you just hold down effects and we can see what that little M means. Micro move, way off. Not micro step, not micro nudge, micro move. We in the world of trackers, boys and girls. So now that I've selected that, I can go and basically, if I had record on, move those things around. Or the other thing I can do is just delete them. And what that's going to do is just delete all of them. And if you want to do this quick, it's easy. Hold down shift, hit the top. Now I've selected all that, hit delete, and they're all gone. And we unsolo that. Right, pretty solid. So here's one thing I don't know how to do. Because everything on the tracker is so separate from everything, like it's all so independent. If I wanted to go in and set this to be a different sample, I would have to say instrument, and we would go here. Oh, so we don't have our recorded sample there. I forgot to load it. Sample loader, we'll go down to our samples, recorded, enter, and was it this one? Yes, sir. Add next. So that's just going to add it into the next spot. Oh, no, it took over that one spot. Oh, that's an easy way. So originally add next at times. Well, if I were to go and do it now and select something new and say add next, it would keep adding and then moving it down one. But because I was already set there, it saved over that. But that's an easy way to replace all those samples for that bass. So now let's see what it sounds like. Way too loud because we are now set this up. I'll set this to about 50. So let's go to our, where is it at? Sample playback. So here I want this end of it there, the start not to be that far in. Let me zoom out of this a little bit. So we'll go back to the beginning. And then I'll say end. I just want it right there. We'll zoom in a little bit. Ooh, yeah. Go to our start. Okay, so now we'll go here. So now I'm just setting a filter envelope, envelope to the filter cutoff. Set this low. again, let's go to master. Man, I'm afraid that this track is too weird. This is like when I get into the late night hour doing some weird stuff. It gets a little late. I'm thinking a little differently. So just to be safe, let's go and make something a bit more universal. Let's call it that. So I'm gonna go to patterns, go to pattern 2. There's nothing here. Steps, I want to set it to 16. Pressing play. Cool, we're good. If I go and say, what track do I want? I'm gonna just do a 4 on the floor kick. Steps, I'm gonna set it to 4 steps. What that means is every time I select a new sample, let's say this kick here, and I hit record, and I go to note, I hit this. Oh, right, so I just entered it in a bunch of times, but I still have the track soloed. So if we go back to our pattern there, I guess you hopefully saw the magic of this. We'll just do it again just to be safe. Select everything, delete. We'll go to the top, records on. Boom, easy. If I want to find a new note, maybe I like that, da 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 da. Cool, now we set everything to G4, sample 14 of our instrument list. Pressing play, right? If I want another little kick down here, I'll set the steps to 0. This is my preferred way of doing stuff because it's kind of reminiscent of the way I do everything else. I know the tracker world, that's very powerful. So I'm gonna say record here, we'll do this. Oh, too high. We'll just do regular. Maybe a little higher. Cool, that works. So now I'm gonna go to our effects and I want to select volume. And then I can even go on effects too, and remember that micro nudge or whatever it's called, micro move. We can move it even closer. And if I wanted this to be on the step before and come a little late, all I would have to do is hit copy. Well, that's going to copy that. So let me go and say note, copy here, paste, delete this one, micro move here, really late. Yeah. Cool. So it's kind of nice to be able to quickly do these things and just like explore the way you would make music, right? The other thing that's really, really, really fun that at first I was like, that's kind of cool, but it makes a lot more sense now is if I go to, let's say, a closed hi-hat. Let's see, let me find a better one. So if I go to notes, if I like that pitch there, I can say I want to select this whole entire column, fill it, or here, we'll do it the magic way. This is what I love seeing on this stuff is I can just say, we'll go here at the top, set our steps to just 1. The other thing about trackers, 0 is 1, or at least on this, 0 is 1. So if you want to say, oh, 4 steps, that's actually 3. So you got to go here. So 1 is 2, 0 is east, and black is, I don't know, concrete. So record, I can say, oh, I like this note. Whoa, that is not at all what I wanted to do. Closed hat, note. Oh my God, Enrique, you're making a fool of yourself. Note, closed hat. So that's that, and then if I go to notes, this is where you select the notes, which is this. Of course, I'm doing this super slow. Let's see, play. Right, so check this. This is what's really cool. If we go back up to the top, record, select all that. I want to fill that with each with one of, so every step with, we'll do volume and random from, we'll do really quiet about 10 to let's do about 50. And then fill. So boom, now check this. See, there's like a varied amount of movement. So now let's take this a step further. We'll go up to the very top again, select that, fill this with micro move. Actually, let's do chance. That'll be fun. Random from a chance of like a 20% chance to, I guess 100%, why not? Fill. Ooh. Dope. I'm using these Lindrum samples, by the way. I've always wanted one, and I just had them on here already, so I figured why not. So let's go find a cool little clap sound. There it is. Clap. We'll say clap here, and then, ooh, bro. We'll say here. Actually, let's do it a little early. So that's just too loud in general. And there's a little bit of low end in there, so I'm going to set this high pass. Ooh. So then I want t. So basically what you do here, you're selecting note, what instrument you're playing, or what effects you're going to be adding, but I want to be adding notes, so I'm going to say record play. And by default, it loads it over into a new track because I'm guessing whatever track you're working on, it thinks, oh, he entered in those manually. If we're going to enter in other notes that are new, we'll put them into another thing. But all you have to do is just say copy, come over here, paste, and then in here you can just say delete, delete. It's really simple. So see that little micro nudge is on there too? So what I want to do here as well is not only micro nudge it, but I want to add send effect. Where's it at? There's a send, delay send. There it is. And then now that I have it selected with record arm, we can say how much. Here's our delay, feedback, rate. What's 3, 2? Ooh. All right, cool. So let's get this annoying pattern, kind of glue it together with some chords. I'm gonna go to our sample loader here, and oh my God, I think I just recorded over that Lindrum clap. So let's go back to our samples, all drum machines, and find the Lindrum and replace that because I messed up. Lindrum. Loading files, clap, add. Hopefully that's still the same. Cool, we saved it. All right, so now I'm gonna go here and make sure we don't do anything. This gets a little clunky sometimes, but I guess you kind of get used to it. It's like muscle memory. I haven't used this in a couple days just because I've been so busy, but once you start using it, you're like, oh, right, this is this, that is that. So for example, here I could just hit back, and then this is insert is also enter, so you just go here, enter, back. So then I want to go to my Harley and Muscle. We'll go to some, yeah, we'll get some piano stuff. Let's see what this sounds like. Cool, yeah, we'll do that. Let's add that there. Importing sample. It shows you your memory time. This recent update gave you more sample memory. I think it's 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. Don't hold me to it, but before it was like 60 seconds and it filled up fairly quick. So cool, we got that here. We'll go to our instrument. What instrument do we want to play? That one, note-wise. Dope. So, right, we have a pattern of 16. Let's give ourselves 2 bars. So I'm gonna just select, record, shift, selects everything, copy. Pattern length, we'll do 32. And if I go up, and over, and then just paste. Oh, did I forget to copy it? No. Or do I have to be in record? Okay, cool, so I have to be in record. Sweet, step to 0. And then go back to this track. Awesome. All right, so I messed up. I didn't want to hit that note. I wanted to hit this note instead. And it holds all that other information in there for you. So again, you can kind of go in and do some weird, freaky things. And one thing I'm wondering is there's an off note which turns the note off. So I want to copy this, delete it, and then move it to here and paste this. And I want to know what happens if I put, I might be doing this completely wrong, but I want to reverse sample playback here. And I wonder if that will actually reverse the sample from the point it's gotten to. Ooh. That is tight. So then on here, can we also say send to delay while it does that? Just a little bit. Oh, please. Oh! Yes! Okay, cool. So then I can say this whole section, let's just copy this, and then this could be moved, and this could be moved, and we'll just paste this here. And because each track is monophonic, it's going to cut itself off. So I don't need to insert an off note for this last note. It's essentially just playing up to there, then reversing, and then getting stopped by this very first note, which I am going to go ahead and delete that so it starts right on the one. But if I go back here, let's go back to our notes off here. I forget how you do the off. There's off, cut, fade. We'll just leave it to off. And what's dope is those hi-hats are just changing, like every time it comes back around. But there was a perfectly randomized amount of chance, so it's almost like some have a chance of hitting higher, or it's not almost like, this is exactly what's happening. Some have a chance of for sure always hitting, and some have a chance of maybe kind of not hitting. So there's almost predictable randomness within the hats. And that's what I love about this, is just this weird unpredictability about it, but you can kind of harness that in. And I guess this kind of touches on those 5 points I was talking about earlier. The novelty of this thing, it's just a tracker. It's weird, it's very precise, it's very intelligent. It has all these really cool functions that are yet to be discovered. In those discoveries comes the pattern recognition, where you're like, oh, I mean, clearly you can just see this pattern going up and down, but you get to flex your muscle memory, which I don't do on my MPCs that much because I'm pretty used to using them all the time. So using something new, I'm sure this is kind of what the Deluge users feel like, which I still have yet to get my hands on. And I mean, the novelty, the pattern recognition, the unpredictability, and just the complexity. It's such a complex, weird thing to use. It's just really, really fun. I mean, yeah, it's just a ton of fun. So now we're on our 5th track. Oh, you know what we should do now is do the little up hat. So what I want to do is we'll go Shift, go up to the top, copy everything, and then we'll go to Pattern 3, and then in here I'll say Paste. So now we have Pattern 3 here, and I want to add like an open hat inside the track of the kick drum, or the hi-hat. So I'm going to go to our sample loader, and we'll go back, enter, back, drum hits, we'll do hats. That's cool. So here we'll go down to the bottom, and then here I'll say add, and now, so that's on 29. In here, if we change the instrument, we can select 29. So instrument, no, there it is. So 29, but see this note, I want it to be here. Awesome. So and I guess for this stuff, the velocity, we can, or the volume, sorry, and this we can delete. So then I want to just copy this, and I'll set our steps to 4, and watch the magic happen. Paste, 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 paste. Oh, and I completely wrecked everything. So delete, delete, delete. We'll leave that one. Delete, 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 delete. So it's just going to paste over. Whoa, what am I doing wrong here? Note. So if I copy this note, let's see if that'll work. Paste, 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 paste. So yeah, see, it's kind of doing some funky thing where These are little things I'm trying to still learn. Oh, it's doing it. It's doing it, mama. Paste. Did it do it? Yeah. Dope. Sorry. Oh my God, I just spit on this thing. Please forgive me. Please. So note mode, record. I want this again to set to 0 so I can just preview this one step. I want it to be a little lower. That'll work. Copy, paste, paste. So then it's what? Copy, all right. And then set this back to 4. Paste, 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 paste. Yes. Dope. All right, let's get some bass going on in here. Instrument, sample loader, back, no, back, back, bass multis, bass 1. Nah, weak. Weak. Yes, my precious. All right, pattern. Now we're here. Instrument, boom, note. Ooh, listen to this aliasness. There's bit depth is set to 16 still, and this is just stretching the crap out of that thing. Let's go down to 12. Ooh, baby, I love your ways. Listen to that. What's the beat sound like? A little too harsh. Dope. So that's again, we're gonna go to our micro steps, and I'm gonna just delete that one, delete and delete. Cool. So play. So you can see that there's note off, but it's still tailing out. That's because our volume envelope is still set to like crazy amount. Ooh. Sweet. So now if I go over to here and I say, what instrument do I want to select? This one here. Instrument parameters. So there's our piano there. I can also just select it from within here, but I want to go to our filter cutoff. Master. Cut off. Envelope. There's still like a little bit of a poppiness. I don't know if that's the attack. Oh, I think that's our bass. So we'll go to our instrument, bass. Maybe this is just too sharp. Oh yeah. Let's go back to our piano. Perform mode. So I already set up a couple of these weird ones like tuning, and these don't apply unless you've selected your track. So let's say we select these. Volume's down. Oh, and reverse playback. Ooh, damn, this is grooving. Yeah, I mean, this is just touching the ultimate basic surface of this thing. So this is kind of where like I just would take this and import it into a DAW, or just kind of, I don't know, like figure out how I can take these elements and really flesh them out into a full-blown song, and that'll take a bit longer than I'm sure any of you would ever want to see. So I'm gonna leave it here on this kind of pretty tight track that has just this weirdness to it. There's like some parts that are perfectly quantized onto this insane grid, other parts that are super swung off. You can have these envelopes moving stuff around. I mean, things going to the delay. There's also the compressor on here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the limiter threshold. Let's see what that sounds like. Oh, that'll smash it. And again, this isn't even the final firmware. Like, I remember at one point there was reverb on here that I think is going to be coming back pretty soon. There's just so much to be explored on this thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be messing with this thing more. If you want to see more videos with this thing, by all means, you know, hit the like button. Let me know. That's a good indicator for me that you're enjoying this. But again, thank you for coming by. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you're doing okay. And you already know the drill. Share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace.